So what's your first name and how old are you?
Alyce, and I'm 30.
What's your addiction?
My addiction was meth, heroin, and Xanax.
And how long were you caught up in addiction for?
All up for 15 years.
So how old were you when you started? About 15?
Yeah, about 14.
14. Yeah. What made you start using drugs?
My dad got diagnosed with cancer, and I just remember feeling like he was going to die, and then just gravitating towards the wrong crowd, and just started copying what the people around me were doing, and that led me down the destructive path of meth.
And so what sort of, explain a couple of moments, the worst moments over the course of addiction, what sort of things happened?
One of the scariest moments when I first ever used heroin, and how sick it made me, but the feeling I got of wanting to conquer heroin and wanting to make it not make me sick, and then I became strongly addicted to it. Losing my kids, now I think back, I just used more drugs when I lost my kids. I didn't cope with it at all.
How many kids have you got?
I've got 3.
And what happened to the kids?
They got taken off me. My oldest boy, Riley, got taken by DCP and put into my parents' care. My ex-mother-in-law took Mia and Jace off me. My addiction just ruled me, made me a horrible person.
So what was the point where all of a sudden you come to the point where you realised you needed to change? What happened?
I was in a domestic violent relationship, and he was really abusive, and I just was using more and more drugs, and I'd become strongly addicted to Xanax. I was drinking a bottle of Xanax a day, easy, and no one really knew about my heroin addiction. And I just got to the point where I had just had enough.
Yeah.
My mum had planted the seed of Shalom in me for years. Even before the women's program even opened, she would go on about this amazing men's program, and I just didn't want to hear it. And then the ladies program opened up, and she seen another resident that was a resident at the time who's now graduated, Alyce'S testimony on Facebook, and commented on it saying, I wish my daughter Alyce would come to a program like this. And not even 3 weeks later, I was on the phone to PLJ yourself, asking to come in.
So what have you achieved since you've been in Shalom?
Everything that the program lays out and sets out to be. I'm debt-free, I own my car, I have all my kids back full-time, I have all my family restored. There's not one single family member that's not in my life. I've got a full-time job. I work here at the cafe. I help run the cafe. Yeah.
And what would you say the root cause of your issues were?
Not being happy with myself. Not feeling good enough when I know now I am good enough.
Yeah,
not using drugs to cover up your emotions on how you're feeling.
And the best and worst thing about Shalom?
The best thing is obviously it teaches you how to be a normal person, how to just be in society and be sober. The worst part would be you coming up behind me scaring me all the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who's caught up in drugs and addiction, it's not as easy just to say change, but how hard is it to change, and what would you say to them?
It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the best thing I've ever done. If you're stuck in addiction and you feel like there's no way out, there is a way out. There is help out there, and yeah, you can get better. I'm now nearly 3 years clean, and I never ever thought that I'd get clean.